Hi guys, I'm Zakara. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. And I wanted to share with you guys a dream that I had. And I believe it was a past life memory that needed like healing. Um, it was really, really disturbing. So I'm just going to tell you guys now, like graphic scenes. So I don't even like horror and graphic things. So I don't even watch horror movies or anything. I don't enjoy them. And so when I had this dream, I knew that it wasn't like something I'd seen in a horror movie or something just randomly made up, because usually you've kind of experienced something that day before, or you've seen something and then your dream kind of mimics it. But this was like, I've never seen anything like it. It was so real. Honestly, I felt like whilst I was in the dream, like I'd actually gone into this lifetime and was consciously there living it again. So it was so strange. It just wasn't like a dream. It was fully like I'd just been transported into this moment in time. And I'd love to know your thoughts on whether you think it, intuitively when you listen to my story, whether you think it could have just been like a dream that my subconscious has made up, whether it's like my subconscious has tapped into a collective type subconscious that this is where this kind of memories come from, whether it could be that it was me in a past life that needed healing, whether it was like a parallel life, whether it just randomly jumped into someone else's existence and it felt like mine. I don't know, and I'd love to hear what you guys think when you listen to this. And please comment anything. I don't mind what your theories are. I'd love to know it actually. So comment what you think. But yeah, like basically, I was in this Middle Eastern country, and it was like all kind of like dry, really hot. The floor was made of kind of like compacted mud. It was quite dusty, but just like a hard mud type floor. And it didn't feel like it was in this era. It felt like it was, I'm not sure when, but it didn't feel like it was in today's world or today's, date, today's era. And I was in this big crowd of people, and everyone in this crowd was all like Middle Eastern, men and women, all gathered together in this kind of like village square. And I, along with about 10, there was probably about, say, 6 other women around me, and me, we were all white. We were all like really pale white with really pale blonde hair, all of us. So we stood out, and we were there watching, and there was like this big kind of like wooden podium, and this big wooden podium um, had, it was basically like where you hang people from, and there was like 3 or 4 other women who were white with blonde really pale hair stood waiting to be hung, like stood on these steps like waiting in line for the to get hung basically. So we were just stood there, and this girl, she basically got uh, moved forward to where you would get hung, and they put the noose around her neck. And rather than it being a podium where the floor drops and then you just you basically get your neck gets snapped basically, rather than it being a podium like that, it wasn't a floor that dropped. It was like a podium. It finished there, and then the hanging thing was here. So the noose came like a rope, like this. While you stood on the podium, you get the noose put round your neck, and then you would get pushed off this podium. So you swing then like that, and then that's where you get hung like that, swinging, rather than like the floor dropping and you're hanging like that. It's like you get pushed off and then you get hung, but while you're like swinging. So this woman had come up, she had the noose put around her neck, and there's a few more waiting, and me and these other women were in the audience. And I remember the woman had a thing around her neck, and she was about to get pushed off, and I remember thinking, right, I need to watch this and to basically not turn away, but to actually be there with her, and to kind of be there consciously with her while she got killed. Because I had this lesson not too long ago, and it was about like when your pets get put down, and it was basically someone was saying that when you take your pets and they have to get put down, um your whole life, like, you love your pets, you're with them the whole time. The one time when they might need you the most, because they go into this room, they can sense something's going on, they can feel a bit nervous, pets and things like that. And this thing that I'd watched had said you should really try, if you can, to be there with them in that moment, and to basically be there and cuddle them whilst they get put down, so that they've got someone there with them in that final moment when they might be in most fear. So this was in my mind when I was watching her get hung. She was obviously a friend of mine, or I'm not sure like how we were related, but I remember thinking, I need to watch her, I need to watch it so that I don't turn away from her pain and suffering, but I'm there consciously with her in her pain and suffering, and I can be there to kind of like, so she didn't feel like she was on her own. So I watched, and they pushed her off, and she like swung. She kind of like swung like this, swung, and as she swung, it's like she got kind of jolted like that as she was about to swing back. And as she jolted, on like the front swing, her eye popped out, and her eyeball flew out but was still attached on something, and then she was like swinging, but the eyeball was like swinging out as well, and she was still alive. So at this point, I felt sick to my stomach, like my whole stomach just turned. I felt so sick that I ended up waking up, and yeah, just waking up feeling so sick. But I can't tell you how real it felt. Like, it didn't just feel like it was in a dream or a movie or made up. It fully felt like I was right there. My stomach turned, and then suddenly I'm like awake in my bed, like feeling really sick. But seriously, it was just so real. I've never experienced anything. I've never watched any movies or seen anything where people get hung in that way, and also their eye coming out and stuff. So yeah, like, it was gruesome. It really like knocked me. But I also thought, I wonder if in that lifetime, like, I hadn't watched it, and whether I needed to learn that lesson to watch it, to be there with her in that moment, or whether I did watch it in that lifetime and then like I had to re-experience it in a dream when I'm less attached emotionally, to try and heal whatever kind of underlying emotions I may have held from that point, with seeing that as an experience. Or whether it was all like a big metaphor for something. Like, it reminds me, because we were all women and stuff, of like, almost it could have been like a witch trial thing or something, I'm not sure. But the eye coming out, could that have been a metaphor for, like, say, your third eye, and rather than your two eyes and seeing things like from your physical eyes, could it have been a metaphor for, you know, your spiritual eye coming out, like opening up? I don't know. It felt real. It felt like a past life thing. It felt like something that needed to be healed. But I would love to know what you guys think. So yeah, comment below. Sorry if it's made you feel a bit sick. It was pretty gruesome, and I hope that no one ever has to experience anything like that, and that I don't. And if it was a real thing, then I send so much love and blessings to that time, to the women, to anyone who's had to go through anything like that. So yeah, thanks so much for watching this video anyway. Yeah, let me know what you think. Peace and love. Bye.